What's going on, guys? In this video, let's talk about the Asian squat. Now, I just came across this right after I finished my passive hang or dead hang challenge, which I continue to do, and I'm going to do a follow-up video because I'm telling you, the benefits of that passive hang are numerous and continuous. I just keep getting better and better because of it. Because of that, I was open to another, I wouldn't say a challenge, but just another passive strength move, if that makes sense. So what is the Asian squat or the passive squat? It's better known as the Asian squat. And what it is just sitting into a traditional, when I say traditional, I'm talking like prehistoric squat position, a position that we probably did a lot as children, as toddlers. You probably see toddlers doing it. It's a position that we did a lot before and we don't do much at all now because we don't have the mobility we used to have, ultimately because we spend all of our time sitting in chairs. And our bodies have just lost the ability to really sit into a really deep Asian squat. That said, this is something I was very familiar with given my culture. I am half Asian and I grew up in Asia. Now I remember as a child, my mom always sat in one of these squats. Like when my mom used to play with me as a child, my mom didn't like take a knee and talk to me and play with me like this. My mom always approached me when I was a child. She always came up to me in a squat like this and would talk to me and play with me. If she was doing anything on the floor, she would pick things up like this. And this was very normal for me to see this. Beyond my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, pretty much any other Asian relative or friend of the family that was around me would squat like that. On top of that, a lot of my friends did it. It was just normal. Then as I was growing up, even in high school when I was in Guam, a lot of my Asian friends, like when we were at parties, I remember guys sitting in circles like this, just hanging out and, yo, what's up, man? You know, just hanging out and talking and chilling like this. So as far as Asian culture goes, from my experiences, and obviously from the experiences of many, which is why this is referred to as an Asian squat, predominantly because you see mostly people in Asia doing it. Here's a little factoid if you didn't know this, but in Asia, at least where I'm from, and when I grew up in Japan, when I was in Japan, the toilets are not above ground. The toilets are built into the ground because in Japan, you squat like this to go to the bathroom. So the toilet is dug into the ground. In the Philippines, when I was there visiting my relatives, they don't have a commode seat on the toilet. So in the Philippines and in other Asian countries, they balance themselves on the sides of the toilet bowl and use the toilet that way. So that little factoid and those stories are going to lead into the first benefit of the Asian squat is going to the bathroom or digestion. We actually went to the bathroom that way. The way that our intestines and our colon is shaped, it's shaped so that we are better, more comfortable going to the bathroom in a squatted position. I mean, this is where all the potty, squatty potty, whatever, all that stuff came out, was when it was revealed, or it was finally understood, that we weren't meant to sit in a chair-like position to go to the bathroom. That's why a lot of us struggle when we're in the bathroom. So sitting in a squatted position, this is actually optimal for going to the bathroom. Number two, of course. Number one, I think would be a little weird for men. Or not. Haven't tried it, probably won't. So as we're talking about the benefits of the Asian squat or passive squat or deep squat, what are those benefits and why should you care? Why should you even do something like this? I mean, right off the top, when you Google, the benefits of a passive squat, right off the top, you get a lot of things. You get back pain relief, you get stronger hips and glutes, increased flexibility, improved posture, improved digestive health, which we already talked about, reduces the risk of injuries, increases bone density, better athletic performance. Another list said deep squatting improves digestive health. Of course, we already covered that. Ankle mobility, deep hip muscle strength, and full body integration. And those are just the first two lists that pop up when you Google benefits of passive squat. Now, what's been blowing up and why this came onto my radar is Ido Portal, I think I'm saying that right, his 30 for 30 challenge, which is sitting in a passive squat 30 minutes a day for 30 days. So I decided, I just finished my dead hang or passive hang challenge. It kind of appealed to me because one of the videos I was watching, he was talking about how the elderly in Asia, they have great strength and mobility, and one of the reasons is through this Asian squat. And I just hadn't thought about it in a while, and they were saying how we just lack the ability to sit into that squat because we just don't do it enough. Now, 30 minutes a day, I was not going to do that, just like I was told to do 7 minutes a day on the dead hang, and I did 3 minutes. You don't need 30 minutes. I just feel like that's overkill. For me, I've been doing it for about 3 to 5 minutes a day, and I'm going into my 3rd week doing it. And I have to say, I'm very happy I started it, and I will continue doing it. That said, let me show you how I got started and where I'm at, and then I'll list out the benefits. Okay, so again, getting into a deep squat is awkward for a lot of people. It's not comfortable. So people end up here. They do this weird thing where they pick up their heels. I mean, when I get clients just to do regular squats for training, for strength training, they can't do it. So getting into a squat position for strength training is hard enough, but then people just can't seem to get comfortably into a deep, deep squat. So that's going to take some time and some practice. So the way to get started, really to get comfortable, is to start with your heels elevated. There's several ways to do this. What I used is this foam wedge that I use for squats to hit some quad-focused squat positions. I also use it for strengthening my knees when I squat. So it's a great tool for this Asian squat or passive squat. Of course, I elevate my heels. I make sure my toes or the ball of my feet are still on the ground, and then just come down into a squat position. And this is a very comfortable squat position. It's very easy. So this will be easy for most people. So elevating your heels will be a good start, okay? Then you just rest your elbows on your knees and you sit. Now the back position is something that was of concern to me. I was worried that the rounding of my back would cause back issues. But between the passive hanging that was fixing my posture and this, it seems to be, the passive hang keeps my back straight like this, and this curves a little, so it seems to be this perfect balance. So I do them together. This said, for shorter people, sitting in this position, their back will probably sit up with better posture, but I have a long torso. I'm 6'4", so I can't comfortably sit like this without falling backwards, even with my heels elevated. So I tend to hunch just a tad, but it doesn't seem to cause me any back issues. From there, you can graduate to a full squat, like with your heels on the ground. Now to start, it could be difficult to just drop right into the squat, okay? So I've been doing this for 3 weeks, so I'm comfortable here, but that started was kind of hard. I felt off balance, constantly off balance. So one trick I saw was to put a kettlebell in front of me or some kind of counterweight, and if I started to tip backwards, I would just grab the handle and make sure I was balanced. So this is a cool little trick to keep you balanced when you start if you feel like you're tipping backwards. I don't ever feel like I'm tipping forward, but I must say that a lot of the time when you first start, you're going to feel like you're going to fall backwards. So that's where this kind of counterbalance again kind of helps. Now, let's go into the benefits while I'm sitting here, because I feel it already, is ankle mobility. When I sit into a deep squat like this, I move my ankles around, and I started to see honestly, rehab, because my ankles are always hurting just from Muay Thai and all that stuff. But I started to see not only them healing, but them getting stronger. So this is great for ankle mobility. And I've seen those benefits. Now, this is how I usually rest, here. Or sometimes I get my arms in here, because that leads me to the next benefit, is hip mobility and deep hip strength. So my hips are important for what I do, strength training, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. You have to have strong hips, and I do a lot of stretches and a lot of different things to keep that strong, but this is kind of taking it to the next level. So getting my arms in here, and when I was finally comfortable sitting like this, I like to push apart and even push more. When I first, the first week or two, I was having to use my elbow to push to get, my hips moving, the mobility, get some mobility training in my hips. Now I can just sit here and just move my knees like this, because I've gotten stronger over time doing this, and I can get my hips. And I've felt the benefits as far as my hips getting stronger and looser at the same time. Being able to kick higher and having the strength to kick with more power. And through that, my hips have gotten strong for just my general squat, and as far as making sure I can get into a decent squat depth comfortably. With sitting in that position like that, strengthening all this, going down into squats becomes very easy, where I wouldn't say it was hard before, but it wasn't always easy. Another thing I do is because, now, as far as the benefits of helping my back or my posture, I'm on my feet all day at my gym. I'm either training clients or I'm teaching classes. And that used to take its toll on my back. It really was hurting my back because I wasn't able to really sit down much. Then when I did sit down, I would sit on one of the benches and I'd just be hunched forward watching the class, and it just wasn't good for my back. So then I would just stand up all day. That way I can keep my posture straight, my back would feel better. From doing the deep squats, I always have my Rolga around because I'm constantly loosening on my back and my glutes or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, let me just sit in a passive squat, but sit on this. So now this is actually how I teach most of my classes. If I'm not standing and showing something, I will sit onto this Rolga. You could use obviously a regular roller and sit in this position. Now, it's taking the weight off, so it's not as effective, but I'm still in a deep squat and it still helps as far as the mobility you gain in these areas. And my back is upright and I feel good, and it takes the stress off my back. And I can sit here for an hour or more. And I sit here like this and I watch the class. You know, sometimes I shout instructions, and then when I need to get up, I just get up and I go assist the students. So that's a neat little thing that I was able to discover where I can sit comfortably. Some days getting into the squat was a little difficult and I was all like tipping back, like I couldn't quite get my balance and I kept falling backwards. Aside from the kettlebell trick, I found that if I just hold a roller out in front of me, it seems to be a great counterbalance, right? And if I start to tip, I just tip this forward and I started holding this, and that seemed to like balance me, you know? And I was already using it, so I would start here, right? And then periodically I would just switch, and then I can sit in the squat. But again, now at this juncture, about 3 weeks, going into I'm in my third week right now, I comfortably can sit like this. Now I say comfortably, but it wasn't all comfortable. The first week, I had a lot going on, so I didn't acknowledge that it was this squat that was probably causing all the soreness in my legs. I was talking to my wife and I was like, man, I think we've been hitting legs too much because my legs are killing me. And that week, my legs were killing me. I haven't felt that kind of pain in a long time. Now, I did have a lot of BJJ clients and I did a lot of grappling. Then that week I was teaching, we were going through a bunch of kicking drills. So I had to keep, in every class, I had to keep throwing kicks over and over again. So I thought the combination of all that was what was causing the pain in my legs. But on top of all that, it turns out it was the first week of this deep squat challenge, or Asian squat challenge. And the pain was basically, if you look at my shorts, that's where it was. From here to here, like all this was just super tight and painful. So my rest day started to feel a little better. I take a second rest day and then I get back into it. After those rest days, I feel this extra strength I didn't have prior to. So on top of all the other stuff I was doing with my legs, the Asian squat really did tax me that first week. So that's where that pain and that strain was coming from. You got to think, man, you're pulling and stretching, and it's not just the muscles, it's the tendons and everything that's tight in those sockets. And you're going to put some serious strain on that stuff, and it's going to be sore and achy because of it. But once that heals, the second week, man, was great. Going into my third week, I'm very happy with the benefits. I do a lot of things to keep my core and my legs strong because of all the things that I do. In tandem with that, I do things to keep my back strong. These are the things that I want to take care of, that I want to stay strong as I get older, because I want to continue to do the things that I love to do, my martial arts and my strength training and fitness and all of it. So these things have to be strong. Now, in my 40s, I can't do all the high rep or heavyweight strength training things that you could get away with before. So these types of passive movements where you just hold positions and you can gain mobility and strength from doing it, these are money, man. These are things that you need to consider and add to your regimen, especially if you're getting older. But it doesn't even matter if you're getting old. These will benefit you regardless. So at the end of all this Asian squat man gets the thumbs up, and I am doing it every day. Well, 5 days a week. I do it 5 days a week. I do it about 3 to 4 minutes a day. if you don't include when I'm sitting on a roller teaching my classes. And I'm just so happy with the benefits. Between those two things, they have almost 100% fixed my back, which is insane because I've had back issues for so long. And then you add on the other benefits that I've already mentioned. And again, there is no reason for me not to do these passive strength positions that, again, increase my mobility, but give me strength. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you think about giving it a try. It's so funny that something that I kind of like forgot about from my youth would come to like be of great benefit to me as I get older. I remember my Lola, like when she was in her 70s, still squatting like that to go to the bathroom, like still having that strength and flexibility. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, check out the channel. We do a lot of things, and I'm sure you'll find something you enjoy. Also, we appreciate the love and support, so if you could like this video and subscribe, that would be awesome. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.